Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Extra Point. As you can see, we're a man down this week.
Yeah.
They should be rolling in here in just a second, but we had to get going. So, Zach, how are you doing?
Doing all right, Joe. How about you?
I'm doing all right. I'm ready for a good week of football.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of last week's football. Let's go over the games real quick. Coffee County wins.
Yeah, it was surprising a little bit.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of thought Lebanon might be able to win that one.
Lebanon.
Not from Tennessee, so don't have the accent quite yet.
Yeah.
So.
Tullahoma wins 29-22. We'll talk about that one in a minute. Franklin County loses that was a barn burner game. 52-49. North County was on a bye. Huntland lost. Lincoln County lost. And Grundy County won. And Warren County won over Fayetteville. Shelbyville lost. Let's talk about this week's games, then we'll talk about what happened last week. This week, Riverdale at Coffee County, Tullahoma on a bye, Franklin County on a bye, and Huntland at Moore County, which ought to be a good game. Other games this week, White County at Lincoln County, Grundy County at Upperman, Columbia at Shelbyville, and that Columbia at Shelbyville is going to have big implications.
Yes, it will.
And Fayetteville is on a bye. Tell me about that Franklin County loss.
Heartbreaker of a loss for those guys. You know, one of those things that a young program has to go through, taking those steps, those hard learned lessons where you really have to dig deep. They led by 3 touchdowns at one point. Both teams have 500 yards apiece of offense. A little like Franklin County, about 470 something with rushing. Jerry Johnson had 5 touchdowns. So it was offensively, it was a great night for those guys. It's just some conservative play calling there at the end, really couldn't tie things up. Columbia onside kicks, recovers, scores, kind of took the wind out of their sails, and they couldn't make up for lost time there at the end. Clock runs out, and that's the game.
Great game to watch, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely a great game to watch. Great game for this young team to really kind of have under their belts now. Again, you hate to see them have that loss, but I think they learned a lot of those hard lessons you're supposed to learn as a young program.
We were talking,
a great one to watch on Twitter.
Yeah.
We were talking briefly about Coffee County getting that win. So at least Coffee County's now got 2 wins on the season.
Yeah, now they got 2 wins, and we have to actually make a clarification too, because me and you have been under this assumption that Coffee County is automatically in the playoffs. No, they did away with that this past year, because we got corrected by one of our viewers. Thanks, Joe Barstad. I had totally missed that since I don't cover 6A, that I forgot that they had done away with that automatic playoff berth. But yeah, that is correct. They are not automatically guaranteed to make the playoffs.
Okay, well then we appreciate the clarification, and we will note that. Let's talk the Tullahoma win. They're back to 4-4 now in the season, right?
They are back to 4-4 and finally notched their first ever Region 4-4A win. So that was a huge step for Tullahoma, especially beating Lawrence County, who they had previously lost to 5 straight years. So it was a good monkey to get off from Coach Olive's back, and just another game where they didn't play up to par in the first half, where they just came out slow and came up beating themselves. First drive, it wasn't like they were having trouble moving the ball. The first drive of the game, they moved it down toward Lawrence County's 2-yard line, but a bad snap over the running back's head, who was taking a direct snap, backs you up to the 24-yard line, and you end up missing a field goal. And next thing you know, Lawrence County takes a 14-0 lead and a 22-7 lead at halftime. So, but thankfully they played well in the second half, like they've done all season for the most part, and were able to notch that come from behind.
They got to piece 2 halves together. They're digging themselves a hole every game, it seems like.
It seems like it.
Let's talk play quick, and then we'll move on, because we got to make this one a little quicker today, guys. And the Coffee County thing kind of changed it up. But I've got it like this. I was looking up. Tullahoma looks like they're going to need a lot of help to maybe make the playoffs.
There's still an outside chance that they could make it to the playoffs. They're gonna have to win both ball games toward the last 2 ball games of the season, which are going to be pretty tough. You got to go down to Giles County next Friday, and then you've got to host Maplewood the following Friday to cap off the season. So it's not impossible, but improbable at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I was looking at. Lincoln County, I think, is probably out. Franklin County needs a lot of help, is what it looked like to me.
Well, they're going to play 2 big rival games after this bye week, and that
they need those wins.
They do. They have to have both those wins, and so I think with Lincoln County. They can win both games. Question is are they gonna be able to? Those are big games, and both those teams always play them hard each year. So, it's possible. It's possible.
I've got it figured that Huntland is out.
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair assumption.
Yeah, Grundy County, I think, needs some help. Not quite as much as maybe a couple of other teams if they were once again to win out themselves. Because the teams that are ahead of them, they're playing.
Yeah.
So that's always on the bubble. Will be Fayetteville is on the bubble, but I'd say with the win, they're going to be in. Moore County would be about the same with a win, another win. I'd say they're probably going to be in. Shelbyville's got to win this Friday. That's the way I look at that one.
Yeah.
Basically, Shelbyville beats Columbia, then they take that third spot.
Yeah.
And that's what Columbia's sitting in.
Yeah.
I know we don't cover Shelbyville all that much, but I don't know if you guys read at all about their game by Summit this past week. Did you read about that?
I saw the score, but it was a good game.
Well, Grayson Trammell, the quarterback over there, set the new state record for passing yardage in a game. So
Wow.
Unfortunately, the Golden Eagles lost that game to Summit, but it was a shootout. But he's now the record holder for the most yards in a game.
Yeah,
Summit's a great team, so to be able to say that is
it was a very close game too. If you saw the score. All right, well, let's move on. Since we do have a couple of buys going on this week, we'll have a lot more to talk about next week, I'm sure, when it comes to high school football. Let's talk about last week's picks. I went 4-2, Zach 3-3.
These picks are at the college level.
Yes, the college level. And Callie, you went 5-1. I wrote an OMG underneath that. Overall, I'm 23-14 in the lead. Zach at 20-17. Callie made a big step to get back at Zach at 19-18 on the season.
Yeah.
Talk about upsets. Since Callie went 5-1. Oh, 3 points.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Michigan lost. Oklahoma lost. The Gators lost. Some might say Louisville lost. Maybe it was an upset.
Yeah.
There was a lot of upsets last week. We'll let Zach talk about that Oklahoma game since I'm sure he loved that one.
Yeah, that was an absolute terrible one. I think this is just one of those things where Oklahoma got caught looking a week ahead. Taking Iowa State for granted a little bit, and then you got to go. You
got beat by the linebacker quarterback.
I know
that story.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. Yeah, I watched that most of the second half. That was kudos to that kid for playing both sides of the ball. But it was a frustrating day for Oklahoma, and like I said, I think it just may have got caught looking a week ahead because that's the big red rivalry shootout every year against Texas is this week. So I think that kind of hindered Oklahoma a little bit. So.
Yeah, I would agree. Michigan gets upset by Michigan State. A lot of people probably didn't see that one coming, but it's an in-house rivalry. So
yeah, I mean, and their offense is still it's been slow to get started this year. Corn has had a difficult year, and some people kind of question him. Did Harbaugh kind of give him too much hype? There's still a lot of football left to be played. So, but like I said, that's a huge rivalry game. They weren't coming in there to lose if they could help it.
And we'll just mention one more because I really just like saying the Gators lost.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about
a bad hold.
Well, I think their luck just ran out. You can only kill so many chickens and all that good stuff, and it just, they've missed kicks all year long, and offensively they're still not with it. And I just think it was just they finally ran out of luck.
Well,
always good to see him lose though.
And me and you took LSU last week.
Yeah, well, I mean, Orgeron had to make a statement, and he did. I mean, he still got a lot of work to do.
Speaking of somebody's going to have to make a statement.
Oh goodness, we don't. Have
well, let's get down just a little bit because we got to go in a hurry. Who can beat Alabama?
Nobody. And Clemson's the only team. Auburn, I think, has the defense ability to contain Alabama, but I just don't think they have enough offense output to beat Alabama at this point.
Are we boring you?
No, albeit never mind.
I would kind of agree. Alabama looks really good, and this actually segues into what this next thing I've written down here. Does it seem like the number 6 through maybe the number 44, maybe I'm stretching a little bit, in the polls can win on any given day this year? It seems like there's more
I'd say anywhere
Equal
between
ground.
number 3 and onward is kind of.
Yeah.
I think the top 2
Up to
teams.
30 at least.
Yeah, or at least can win at any point. And it's. I really don't know how you rank those number 3 through whatever teams you want to go with, but I think the top 2 teams are pretty evident who they
There's not
are.
a big difference between 20 and 30. Right?
No,
Yeah.
at this point, no.
So,
Well, we talked about it yesterday with Coach Olive, about these teams that, even these smaller programs, there's really not a bad program anymore. These smaller teams are able to recruit really good players and come in and upset these bigger schools, whereas we call them the Mother Mary School of the Blind and all, but these smaller programs, are doing their own thing too.
well, let's get into this week's picks so we can speed this up. Number 24, Texas Tech at West Virginia. What are you thinking, Callie?
Oh, Texas Tech.
Zach?
I'm going to go with West Virginia on this one. I don't know if you guys read the news about that shooter at the University of Texas at Texas Tech, and I think that's going to become a distraction for Texas Tech this weekend, unfortunately for them. So I like West Virginia.
I don't disagree with that. I just kind of think Texas Tech has a little more offense than West Virginia does, and I'm going to take Texas Tech. This might be a dumb underdog pick. Auburn at LSU. One Death Valley. What do you think, Zach?
Auburn. I think you maybe mentioned Auburn earlier, so I think Auburn has a pretty stout defense. So I think.
Yeah, I'm with him on that one.
I think Auburn gets this win as well because I just don't think Florida is Auburn.
Yeah.
Vandy at Ole Miss. I think this is the one I'm a little troubled about. Other than it being at Ole Miss, I don't know.
Yeah.
Vandy, who I thought looked pretty good.
It depends on what teams show up. It depends on what, but you're also at Ole Miss, which is in their favor. I'm going to say Ole Miss in this one.
Yeah, I think I'm going Ole Miss as well with this one.
See, I'm going to go Vanderbilt on this one. I think Ole Miss just still has those program issues with Hugh Freeze leaving and still looking for consistency.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. Let's talk Texas A&M at Florida. Texas A&M actually gave Alabama a pretty
Yeah, they did. Probably the most decent game of the year thus far.
Yeah, this is the one that I was torn on the most out of all these picks. I guess I'm going to go Texas A&M on this one. I'm not really confident in that pick, but
just go in for the K. I ain't picking Florida.
I think I'm going to go Texas A&M just because I just don't think Florida is Florida. I mean, I really don't. I think they've got a lot of lucky in a couple of their games. They probably should have lost a couple of those games.
Aren't you guys looking forward to seeing those new awesome Florida
uniforms? Oh, Lordy, bless their hearts.
Saturday.
It's sad that their uniforms have come to that.
Okay, Utah at USC. USC sitting at number 13. Now, I think this is a good underdog pick right here. Utah's a good team.
I think this is a good game, but I still like USC.
I do too. Of course, every time I picked USC, they've lost, but I'm going to go ahead and do it this time.
I'm going to take Utah because they just got knocked out of the top 25, and I think they lost last week. They got something to prove this week. So, number 6, TCU at Kansas State. Zach?
TCU, I've liked what I've seen from TCU this year, both sides of the ball.
I would agree.
Yeah. It was a college game day pick last week as well, so I'm going to stick with the
TCU.
Yep.
And the way their schedule looks, they could be someone there at the end. All right. I think, we got one more. Speaking of guys that had to have that win, like you said, Orgeron, South Carolina at UT. Not knowing how South Carolina, they put up like 40-something points last week. And now UT's deciding they're going to make
a quarterback change. Yeah.
I think this could be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Well, I agree with you on that. And what Sean said yesterday, it's going to take everything that Tennessee's got to beat South Carolina.
If you remember several years back, the loss to South Carolina is what got rid of Johnny Majors.
Yeah, it's one that put the moving van in front of his house.
So.
I got to go with South Carolina on this one. I just don't know if Tennessee can muster enough offense to score the points needed to win the game.
Hopefully the bye week helps them out to get some of their stuff fixed.
Yeah, with
but
Rich Jones'
I'm-
record after
I'm
bye
on
weeks
South
is not
Carolina.
stellar. Yeah.
This is one that I had to flip a coin on and think about over and over again. I'm going UT on this one. I think that there's a slight possibility of having that bye week, which is one of the best bye weeks they've ever had, according to Butch over there. So I'll go with
He's not going to say the worst.
The champions of live.
The champions of the bye week.
Yeah.
All right, my silly underdog pick this week, and I don't really think it's silly. I'm taking Georgia Tech to beat Miami. And I wrote some down here for you guys. I don't know if you really thought about it. You got LSU, of course. Auburn's at LSU. TCU's at Kansas State. Oklahoma versus Texas. That would probably be a good underdog pick. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't really have an underdog pick at this point. I guess Texas is probably the one that I would go with at the most, but I really don't even think Texas will win that game.
I think it's going to be tough to win it with Oklahoma having a loss.
Yeah.
Have you looked at any underdogs for the week?
Yeah, well, no, I'm going to go with my own home team, UT over South Carolina. And the nail biter.
I don't know if I can say that's an underdog.
I just they've got to prove some stuff to me this week.
All right, real quick, let's get this finished up because I'm already late for a meeting. I'm gonna get yelled at. The Titans lose again, and they're now 2-3.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not looking good for them now. You don't know what the Mariota injury is going to
That's
do.
the biggest thing right now.
We're not being told a whole lot. Our preseason predictions, Callie, where you said they were going to go 9-7. Zach, you said 11-5, and I said 9-7. What are you thinking now?
I'm thinking 8-8 now, but it all hinges on how Mariota is going to be healthy for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
If not, the Titans are going nowhere. We saw that on Sunday against
Castle
Miami.
couldn't do anything.
Castle couldn't do anything.
No, it was still worse. There were some bad calls.
Yeah, obviously, but yeah, the fumble back for a touchdown I thought was a little bit ridiculous. I thought Castle's hand was clearly going forward on the
Well, I mean,
pass.
the fumble was 20 yards
Yeah,
up
well,
the field.
exactly. I just think that was a horrible call, but
And then what about I guess it was offensive interference they called on
Yeah,
Lonnie Walker?
yeah, there was questionable calls in there, but
So,
you can't blame the refs on all
Callie,
this.
what are you thinking now? I mean, I think 9-7 is being very optimistic at the point that
Yeah.
they already have 3 losses.
Lord, y'all are the ones who are trying to get me to be so optimistic. I'll go with Zach on the 8-8.
It just all depends on if Mariota gets healthy or not.
There's a lot of question marks.
This
still.
offense is
Well, and the
designed
problem
for
is right
injuries.
now, Jacksonville's looking much better. Houston's looking much better. Indianapolis is even won a game. They're looking a little better. The Titans are the team that's not, their offensive line's not getting it done. Their defense is doing okay.
Yeah.
But, number one, even if you get Mariota back, if your offensive line's not letting you run the ball, which was one of our strong points last year. That means Mariota's going to take off more. He's going to get hit more. He's going to be injured more. I think 7-9, and they do not make the playoffs at all now. At all.
Just toss them out.
7 wins, 9 losses. If Mariota's out for the next game or 2, that's definitely a possibility.
Okay.
So,
Although thankfully they got to host Indianapolis this week, who's just as
Bad.
injured and downtrodden as the Titans are at this point. So
it is a Monday night game,
It is
so
Monday
watch
night
the
football
Monday night game. The Predators, of course, they lost they lost their first 2 games of the season, but won a dramatic game.
I watched that game. I didn't see the very last moments, which I don't know what I was doing, but that was a great game.
Yeah, it was a
The
good
battle
game.
back like they did.
Well, they were up 3-0.
Mhm.
Then it was tied. Then they gave up 5 goals in a row. It was 5-3, and then they were able to score and then put 2 in within the last 2 minutes to win the game. So good luck, Predators, on the rest of your season. Once again, I got to get going, so we'll call it a day today. You can always reach Zach
reach me on Twitter at Zach Birdsong.
or you can reach Callie at.
Also on Twitter at NewsGal27. Also, just real quick, we talked to Coach Olive yesterday. We weren't able to go Facebook Live because of Facebook issues, though that is on Tullahoma News Sports page, also Tullahoma News
Yes.
Facebook page,
And the website.
and the website. So check it out. Lots of good information from Olive about where the team has come, is going, and all that good stuff. So check it out if you get a second.
All right, folks. We appreciate you joining us. Let us know how we're doing anytime. Have a good day.